Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the broadcasting channel EUH UVP. This is your host, Alba Martínez de Santos García, and we are live on our literature talk show. This week, we are presenting Jane Austen's posthumous novel, Persuasion. The outline I will follow is simple. Firstly, I will give some details about her life and about the historical period she lived in. Later, I will give a brief summary about the novel. And to finish with, I will concentrate on the character of Anne Elliot, and I will also explain why is it so important for the novel. Let's begin. Okay, we have some breaking news. Jane Austen has been seen somewhere nearby the center of the city here in Vitoria. We are going to connect with our correspondent, Miss Gorostiaga Rodriguez, who is already in the building where she has apparently been seen. She is going to tell us the details about this, and we will see whether she comes out or not of the building. If we can confirm that Jane Austen is in here, then we could be witnessing something never seen before. The floor is yours, Miss Gorostiaga.
Yes, thank you, Alba. As she was saying, Jane Austen has been seen going inside this building. We still don't know whether that is true or not. So, we are in here waiting to see if she is going to come out or not. Maybe she has been confused with a neighbor, or she has been really seen. So, the only thing we have to do now is wait and see if she comes out and we can ask her to have an interview with us. Hang out with us. Let's see if that's true or not.
Wait! I have heard something. Turn around.
Oh my god! It's Jane Austen.
Look! There she comes. Excuse me, Miss Austen. We would like to invite you to our literary talk show because we are talking about one of your novels. We would like to have an interview with you during the program. Will you come?
Yes, of course.
Great.
But the interviewer must watch his or her manners. Otherwise, I will leave.
Great. Let's go.
As we have witnessed, Jane Austen is here in Vitoria, and she is coming to the set. So while we are preparing everything, we are going to give way to the advertisements. Stay with us, we'll be back soon.
Have you ever been at home staring at your bookshelves without knowing what to read?
Well, we have the solution for that. We recommend you the following books. The first one is this one. If you want to read about two British satires of the 18th century, then you have to buy this book, because it contains Jonathan Swift's The Gulliver's Travels and Sheridan's The Rivals. It is important that you buy this edition, because it is edited by Dr. Martin Simonson and it contains the introduction made by Raul Montero, which is really good, so buy it. Then, we also recommend you John Milton's Paradise Lost and Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock. You can buy the books in our website, The Tree of Knowledge of EUH UVP, or you could come to our store, which is located in Vitoria in the Faculty of Good and Evil. If you have any problems while you are purchasing the books online, contact us via WeHub, please, because it is the only way you can reach us, as we haven't got a phone number. So, yeah, WeHub is the only way you can contact us. See you! Welcome back! Miss Austen is here with us. Wow! I I just cannot believe that this is happening. So thank you very much for accepting the invitation to our program. It is very, very, very special for us to have you here. So let's begin the interview. We would like to know about yourself and about the historical period you lived in.
Hello, everybody. I am Jane Austen. I was born on the 16th of December 1775 in Steventon, England. I was the seventh child of a family of 8, and I had 6 brothers and 1 sister. My father was the rector of the Anglican parish at Steventon, and although we were not a wealthy family, we were well connected and well educated. I was mainly educated at home, although I attended boarding school in Reading in early 1785, along with my oldest sister Cassandra, whom I had a great bond. My father gave me the liberty to explore the books in his library. Thanks to this, I discovered that I loved reading. On top of that, my cousin Eliza used to write theatre plays, which I loved, and she was the inspiration for some of my works. At the age of 11, more or less, I wrote my first poems and little stories for myself and my family's amusement. I would often parody and exaggerate the details of my daily life. Later, I wrote some minor works, and when I was around 18 years old, I began to write more sophisticated novels. I was forced to publish my first novel, Sense and Sensibility, in 1811 anonymously under the pen name by a lady, because the ideal roles of women in the 18th and 19th centuries were as a wife and mother. The writing was a secondary activity, so if any woman wanted to become a full-time writer, her femininity was downgraded. The idea of social status was very important in England at that time, and many people were very much concerned about being well behaved so that they could maintain their social position. I lived between 2 different centuries, and I can tell you that the 18th century was the period of the Enlightenment, and the time where the Second British Empire arose, while the early 19th century was the period when Romanticism started, and it was an era of political and social unrest in Britain. In 1813, Pride and Prejudice was published. This time, I published the novel under my real name, so my anonymity ended. A year later, I published Mansfield Park, and in 1816, Emma was published. I remember that I wrote the novel Persuasion and Northanger Abbey sometime before I died, and somebody told me that they were published in 1818 after I died in 1817. In my novels, I wrote about the rules of decorum that governed social relationships, and I insisted on the fact that reason and moderation were necessary checks on feelings. I also wrote about women's traditional dependence on marriage, because marriage secured social standing and their economy. I know that marriage was very important, but I did not get married because I did not fancy it. And my life was entirely sustained by the number of books that I sold. In the novels, I comically represented life, but I also employed humor to explore the individualism of women's lives and their gender relations. My novels belong to the genre the novel of manners because, in the end, I wrote about the everyday routine and events of people of the middle and upper classes.
Wow, thank you for sharing the details about your life. You are truly inspiring, Miss Austen, let me tell you. Now, we would like you to tell us something about the plot of the novel. What is the book about?
Persuasion tells the story of Anne Elliot, the gentle and sensible middle daughter of the aristocratic Elliot family that lives in Kellynch Hall. Anne was engaged to Captain Frederick Wentworth, but she called off the engagement because her father, Sir Walter Elliot, and her oldest sister Elizabeth told her that Wentworth was an unsuitable partner for her. Also, Lady Russell, whom she considered a second mother after her own died, finally persuaded her to cancel their engagement, because she told Anne that Wentworth was not a high social status man, so he did not deserve to belong to the Elliot family. Several years after the short and successful engagement, the Elliot family is forced to move to a cheaper house in Bath because of the lavish spending of Sir Walter Elliot. They decided to lease the house to Admiral and Mrs. Croft because they were wealthy. After moving to Bath, Anne goes to stay with her younger sister Mary at Uppercross Cottage with the Musgroves, because Mary was married to one of the Musgroves. There, she is informed that Captain Wentworth has returned from sea and that he will be staying at Kellynch Hall. Anne remembers her short and unsuccessful engagement and resigns herself to the idea that Captain Wentworth is never going to love her again, although she still loves him. My God. After some events, Anne eventually returns to Bath and the Crofts arrive there announcing 2 engagements. She is relieved to learn that Wentworth is not engaged. Now, Wentworth is a much richer man than he was when he was first engaged to Anne, so this time Sir Walter accepts him into his social circle. Wentworth is jealous because he thinks that Anne is attached to a relative, so he decides to write her a beautiful letter in which he describes his true love for her. That's so lovely. Finally, Anne and Wentworth get engaged, and this time Sir Walter and Lady Russell approve the engagement.
Wow, it is a very interesting novel. Thank you. Now, to finish with, we would like you to tell us about Anne Elliot's character. Why is it so important? What makes her relevant in this story?
Anne Elliot is the protagonist of the novel, and she's witty, clever, and considerate. I depicted her as a patient and kind-hearted woman because she resembles her deceased mother. I know that she is not the prettiest lady in the novel, but her beauty is not on the outside, but inside her. However, her lack of physical beauty made her the least favorite daughter of her father. And she is in many times overlooked by her father Sir Walter Elliot and her older sister Elizabeth because they prized wealth, beauty, and heritage above everything. Anne lives in the shadow of her sadness and melancholy because she does not think that she will ever be happy again. She is most of the time sad because she remembers her unsuccessful engagement with Captain Wentworth, which makes her very, very sad. She's also traveling all the time, and she is always helping everybody, but nobody can help her out because she thinks that she is helpless, because she's not married to the man he loves. Besides, Anne is relevant in the story because I didn't place a specific narrator, but the novel is almost completely told from the third-person point of view of Anne. She's also important because she's the protagonist of the story, and because she balances passion and practicality, and because she has no negative traits such as malice, flighty, and hysteria, which are considered as negative characteristics of the gender.
Thank you for telling us about Anne Elliot, and also thank you for accepting the invitation to our program. None of us had ever imagined that you were going to come to the 21st century and that you were going to be the guest of our program. So Again, thank you. We would love to have you here forever, but we understand that you have to go back home, so have a nice and safe travel. Finally, I would like us to send a message to the audience. Thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching the program. None of this would be possible without you. So again, thank you very much. This is the end of the program. Have a nice week and take care. See you!